And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a deck building game called Nobel Run. The scientific career is hard but exciting. It's a deck building game where you have a research team, you're hiring pre-docs, postdocs, and seniors publishing articles and trying to win the Nobel Prize. If you've never heard of a deck building game before, it is a game where you start with a small deck of cards, you will play those cards, buying more cards with in-game currency to make your deck bigger and better. Here's how it plays. In the middle of the table, you put a line of basic cards next to a deck of them and a line of advanced cards. Each player is going to start with a deck of 7 cards. You're going to shuffle that and draw 5 of them into your hand. On a player's turn, they want to buy more cards, and each card has a cost on it. So you'll see Margarita here costs 3 coins, although this card here is going to cost 3 effort and 1 data. And your cards are going to give you resources. So for example, this card here gives me a coin or a data. Or I can put it in my curriculum vitae. This you put over here on the side. It's a pile that you have, your CV pile, I'll call it. And that's out of your deck for the rest of the game. Now this one doesn't do anything in particular, but this one, if I publish this one to my CV, it's going to give me a victory point. And since I'm trying to get 20 victory points, that's a good thing. Now the problem with doing that is once a card's there, it's gone out of your deck forever. But hopefully you're buying more cards. Some cards, like this paper, when you buy them, so this costs 4 effort and 2 data, will immediately, see the little lightning bolt there, immediately goes to your curriculum. And that one gives you 3 points. Whenever a card is bought, you replace it. You can buy the card on the top of the deck, but that costs an additional card discarded from your hand. As you buy cards, sometimes you can put it in your CV for money, but then this one also gives 2 data. Sometimes they do negative things to other players. So if you play this card on someone else's turn, it will make them have 1 less data, or you can publish it to their CV to make them lose 2 data. Here, for example, I can play this on someone else's turn to make them have 1 less money, or publish it to their CV to make them have -2 money. Or here, Donna Strickland here, I can play this to make someone else lose a card from their hand. Or I can publish it to my own CV to get 4 victory points. You can only publish 1 card to your CV per turn. You can buy as many cards as you want. When you're done, you discard your cards. You can keep cards in your hand. You don't have to discard the rest of any cards you don't play. And then you draw up again. You keep doing this till somebody gets 20 victory points. That person is the winner of the game. The card quality here is decent. It works for a deck building game. The art is fantastic. And there's a lot of actual real people in here. Like, I did not even know who Margaret was here. I looked her up, and she's the person who invented the machine that made the flat bottom brown bag. In fact, when she died, her obituary said she was what they say it was a female Thomas Edison. She was the first woman to get a patent. That's kind of cool stuff here. So a lot of these people I didn't know about, but now I can learn, and I really like this artwork. Symbology's okay. It's weird because they have these blue cards and they say those are the basic, and then the purple ones, these are the advanced cards, and then the gray ones are starting cards, except you start with a couple blue ones. So then why not make these gray? That's just weird. But the rules work pretty well. The tokens are fine. Component-wise, this is okay. I love the cover of this game. I like the theming of this game. So I'm very disappointed to tell you that that's pretty much it. Man, there are so many problems with this game. So the theming of the game is pretty good. It's definitely geared towards hey, women are scientists and do a great job. I like that a lot. But since when did women steal from each other and constantly, mine data from other people? I was confused. I mentioned this, I learned this lady does the paper bag. That's cool. So why is she negatively taking money from other people? I read her whole Wikipedia entry about her. It didn't say anything about her doing that sort of thing. So these negative cards, which to be fair, are about 15 to 20% of maybe 15% of the decks. But if you get a negative card, you are constantly playing against other people. It's not fun. I guess you could take them out, but having them in there at all works against the theme, because if you're trying to get the Nobel Prize, you're not getting it by negatively affecting other players. That's such a weird thing, and it's not fun. It's just, hey, lose a card in your turn. Yay. So that's one problem with the game. The other problem with the game is, another one is that this game is a deck builder. So in a deck builder, you have a hand of cards, you play these cards, you draw more cards. Here's the problem. This game has a way of culling cards from your deck by sticking them in your CV pile. When you do that, you make your deck smaller. You can do it once per turn. Well, anybody who is an expert at deck building games knows that the best way to have a good deck is to get the useless cards out of your deck. So you will do so. You start with 7 cards. You draw 5. You play some of those cards. You then discard, draw them up to 5. The problem is, if your deck runs out, you shuffle your discard pile. So turn 1, you shuffle your discard pile. You see where I'm going with this? If you keep taking a card out of your deck each turn, which you should, you want to have a lean, mean deck of 7 cards if possible, you are shuffling every single round. I don't mind shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling, but I do not want it to do it every time, and shuffling 5 cards it's a very ho-hum experience. Then you have these basic cards and advanced cards with different costs. The costs might be out there. There might be some negative cards. You don't necessarily want to buy them because all they do is hurt other players and don't help you. It's nonsense. So you're trying to buy stuff. So then you get to the point where if I want to win the game, I need to buy cards from that bottom row. This one costs 9 coins. I have 5 coins in my hand. I'll discard the cards that have no coins, draw up on my turn, buying nothing, so that I can get, so that I know I have 9 cards in my deck. I do that a couple turns, I have 9 cards. Yay. And my person plays the paper bag lady, and boom, I'm back down, and I got to do all that over again. There's 3 currencies in the game. They mix and match them, publishing stuff. This feels like they picked and chose some mechanisms. You want to see a way of taking cards out of a deck and making it better. There are other games that do that. There are lots of deck building games out there. And this one has a great theme to it, and they squandered that on a really boring, lackluster game. I wouldn't have even minded, I think, if this was a very generic deck builder. Say it was similar to games like Ascension or DC Deck Builder. Just very simple, get cards, play them. That's fine, but this one's trying to be clever with 3 currencies and stuff and ends up being clunky and not interesting and anti-theme. So for all those reasons, I really can't recommend Nobel Run. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment. This is a big mess.